Y'all, it's been a day.
You're not even talking in the mic.
It's been a day.
Why? What happened?
It's been a day.
You was on time.
It's been a day.
You was on time today.
Let me tell you something. Technology was not my friend today for work.
What happened?
My laptop, my email just froze. Froze for like hours.
So what happens? Like you're at work, your stuff doesn't work. You have to wait on like tech support. Like, what does your job expect you to be doing that whole time? Nothing.
If IT is working on my computer at the time, what do you mean what they expect me to do? What am I supposed to do with my at home?
I don't know.
And my computer is taken over by a tech genius. Shout out to Chris.
I just knew when I was in college with my degree that I was going to be that person. But then like help desk, IT help desk doesn't sound sexy enough. You know what I'm saying? So when you're in school, you're like, oh, I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be hacking shit. I'm going to be shutting down websites. I will be working for Karen Civil, knocking down Hollywood Unlocked.
Okay.
But that didn't happen. Meanwhile, I graduated and went back to bussing tables at a hotel. Oh, well.
I thought you was going to say busting ass or something.
No, wasn't busting ass. Haven't been busting ass. But we had a little bit of fallout from the last pod.
You kind of was because you got a kid. You was busting somebody's ass.
Bruh, I hate you so much. Bruh, let me tell you something. I'm doubling down on what I said last week. Do not have a kid unless you're married.
Man, have a kid if y'all want to. Y'all do whatever the fuck you want to. You grown.
Absolutely. You're going to do whatever you want to. But do not have a kid unless you're married. Which is funny because I found the courage. Hand claps for the black man having courage. Hold on, let me find it.
See, this is why. You moving stuff.
I got to be able to reach shit.
This is why. I feel like you have adjusted some things because I feel like the table is further away from the kid.
Maybe I should move it closer. Key. I found the courage. Look at you.
It's your fault.
Look at you. Key Mike over here falling and shit. Y'all gonna see all that. I found the courage to go ahead and talk about. I put on my story. I was like, "Yo, do you agree with this logic of me saying that you should not have a kid unless you're married?" And overwhelmingly, most people agreed. I would have to say, I'm not even gonna lie on people today. I would have to say at least like 70% agreed. Of the 30, now mind you, I don't believe that represents my followers, because some of the people who I know, let me put it like this: the few people that disagreed. So if I say 70 agreed, out of that 30, 30% of that 30 don't have kids, right? Which is great. The other 30 was just like, not even that. 30% didn't have kids. The other 70% of those people were single moms themselves. And some part of me felt like, all right, maybe they missed the mark or missed what the conversation was about. Because a lot of them were saying, no, I don't agree. I believe that, I think they saw it as an attack on single women or single moms.
Well, I think you didn't have any type of background with your question. You literally just asked one simple question. But if you listen to the pod, I think and Gavin can correct me if I'm wrong. I think he just meant like the support there when you are having a kid. And yeah. I think I asked you that last week. Do you mean just like having somebody there to support you, this, that, and the third during that very beginning process? And I think when you just ask a question, you should you just wait to have marriage? Some people be like, no, you don't have to, but it's more to what he was saying.
Absolutely. And I thank you for that.
Explain to folks.
Well, sometimes I expect us to be able to think past step 3.
No, because just
I agree with that too. No,
I was like, just because
niggas won't.
You asked a flat out question.
Absolutely. But for me, it's like, I looked at it and I saw like one young lady, man, wrote me and said, no, you don't have to. Single moms are the shit. This is independence, right? Mm-hmm. That response got me 5 more responses, all from black women who were like, what the fuck is she talking about? Like this logic. And it was only women. It wasn't men. Well, one dude wrote me and was like, we fucked. If this is the norm, if this is what people are thinking, we're fucked. Now, to be completely honest, So mind y'all, let me give a recap. I asked the question, do you agree that you shouldn't have a kid unless you're married? And somebody said, no, single moms are the shit. That's independence, baby. And a lot of the moms looked at it and was like, yo, no, that's not right. And so for me, and I wrote her and I was like, yo, you know, we are now in a society where we praise single moms so much that the generation after us thinking that that's okay and it's cool and that's the norm and that's how life should be. So for me, while I did post a 1.5-minute clip and our conversation was an hour, probably that section of the podcast is easily an hour. And while I posted 1 minute out of that whole hour plus conversation, for me, I expect all of us to be able to think that, hey, this is not an attack on single moms, single women, but more or less to say, hey, what was the dynamic of the family and what it should have looked like? What's the dynamic of the family to understand what it could look like? Oh my gosh. Sorry. That is the mother of my child texting me. Let me know my son is screaming down the house and that she gave him 2 ounces of milk and the house is completely silent. So all is well. So anyway, back to our regular scheduled program. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, damn, have we gotten to this point where we praise single moms so much that men are starting to think like, yo, you supposed to be able to do everything my mom would do, right? So while my mom worked overtime, and I ain't talking about her at work because they working overtime at work, but they working overtime when they get home. You know, are men thinking like this is what all women should be able to do? Are women going into a situation thinking like, yo, it's cool if I'm a single mom because I can do it just as well as my mom did back in the day. And I think we're getting to a point where we forget that the family started off with mom and dad both in the house. The family started off with, you know, it's a union there. We can't argue the stats. We can't argue that, you know, how kids turn out when both of their parents are in the house. We can't argue the stats on, and you know what? And I was telling, me and one young lady was talking, and me and her was going back and forth, not negative, like against each other, but we were just piggybacking off each other. And a lot of these chicks think their son's going to turn out like LeBron James. They think they're going to turn out like Jay-Z. They think they're going to turn out like Drake. They think they're going to turn out like Allen Iverson. They think they're going to turn out like these athletes and these men that are just overpowering, like great dudes. And then they don't realize that they raising sassy ass boys. And I use that term sassy because a lot of people, you know, they start getting into this little thing where it's like, oh, my son, you know, he has a mind of his own. He talks like a little grown up. He does this, he does that. And then they don't realize like, that ain't nothing but sass. Like somebody got to marry your son that you raising. Ask yourself, would you marry that boy? That was it. So I looked at that. And then to be fair, the young lady who did write me that, she don't have any kids.
What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. It means she can't place her opinion on you
can place. Okay, so that's the step that I expect all of us to get past. Of course, you can do whatever you want to. You can go have a kid with every man you lay eyes on. You can take all your baby daddies to child support. You can run to the next country if you want to. Get all that. Cool. You can scam a dude to have a baby and change your name and won't be found. You can do all that. You can have an opinion if you don't have kids, but it's funny for you to tell me how a kid should be raised when you ain't even dating nobody and you don't want to have kids yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, and when I say, you know what I'm saying, I'm just saying like, I'm looking at her and I'm like, damn, you 20. Mentally, you're not even there. Mentally, you know, before we started this podcast, I made a phone call. It was to my wife to check on, because shit is crazy.
What you mean though? Let me ask you some questions, because sometimes you can say things that can come off very offensive.
Okay.
Like talking about that young lady. You know, our parents were young 20 something when they had us.
Absolutely.
Right?
My mom had me when she was 19.
So like, would you say the same thing about your parents?
My parents was married. My parents, I grew up in a household where my mom told me very, very, very early, don't have kids this young. Don't get married this young.
Every parent says that.
Absolutely.
Because
Should we try to be better?
It's based off their own experiences. But Just because you live in a two-parent household and your parents married, don't mean it's all gonna be peachy either.
Absolutely, but you got a higher percentage of it being that.
Do you though? Because there's
stats-wise.
plenty of two-parent household kids come out ass.
Absolutely, but it's less than single-parent households. That's a fact.
Whatever.
I'm just saying. And here's the thing: we can't. When I was saying stuff and I was mentioning it, I noticed a lot of women, especially, was upset, thinking that it was targeting them. They don't realize like they're doing stuff they not supposed to be doing, and they shouldn't have to do is a better word.
My thing is, I don't think anybody strives to be a single parent.
Well, shit. So if that's the case, then you should not.
It's
have
all
an issue.
like I said, sometimes it may not be what you do say. It depends on how you say certain things that could come off offensive to people. I don't think women, even guys, strive to be, I'm going to be now. They may be, if they rich and do whatever they want to, got the money to do that, cool, whatever. I don't think anybody goes into a situation and say, yes, I'm going to be a single mom. Yes, this is what I strive for. Like, I don't think that's the case. I think it's all circumstantial.
Absolutely. I agree with you 110%. Yeah, I don't think nobody goes and saying, yo, I'm going to be a single mom here. But unfortunately, when you don't set yourself up, you do fuck up and fail. So when you go into a situation and you having a kid with a dude you barely know, and not even to the women, my conversation was to both, and it's going to transition to the next thing I'm going to say. But like sometimes dudes will go out and they'll just raw dog a chick, place they see, get her pregnant, and thinking shit sweet and thinking like, all right, I can navigate this, and don't realize like, yo, bro, it's deeper. It's deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? And I told, you know what? I put in a group chat of mine. My son wasn't even a week old. And I told everybody in that group chat, I said, yo, I don't know where your baby mom is. I don't know y'all relationship. I don't know what's up with it. You need to call your baby mom and thank her. Like, dudes is out here really not thanking their baby moms when they don't know if their kid was dead. You know what I'm saying? They don't know if their kid was getting fed. They don't know if their kid knew how to speak. And it's a lot of dudes, especially these dudes that I know on Facebook, these dudes who are in some of these groups, and it's like, I ain't seen my kid in a minute, and they Instagram dads, and then what ends up happening is they don't know what the fuck is going on. So they think shit's sweet because they just think, I can navigate having a baby mom that I know nothing about. And that shit hits them. So that shit was just equally to them. Now, all the dudes who hit my line, I'm going to be fair, that hit my line, that has kids, that's not married to their baby moms, they all said they agree with it. Like, yo, don't do this shit again unless you married. Because it's something about men knowing that, yo, I'm marrying a woman and I care about her so much that now the next step is, once we have a kid, I'm going to care about her well-being. Like, and that shit is tough to deal with, to live with. And so my thing is, what I was trying to get to the ladies last week, flip-flopping back to them, it was like, yo, we can't have this generation thinking that single moms is cool. So if we don't think that, what are we thinking? That y'all should be heavily dating, living together, choosing if y'all want to get married or not? Cool. If you want to risk that, cool. And saying I do don't necessarily change, but I have never seen nobody say, yo, I'm going to have a kid with a dude who I know is going to be a shitty husband. I mean, a shitty dad, but a great father. It just really don't happen. And then I'm going to go.
But it can turn out that way.
Absolutely can. Absolutely. You're not going to hear me not argue that. A lot of us can talk about, a lot of us can say, yo, I had a great dad, a shitty, but I saw that he was a shitty husband. One of my homegirls, she talks about it all the time. She was like, yo, my dad was a great father, but he's a shitty person. And I said, what do you mean? She said, he racist as shit. She said, as a Caucasian woman, my dad is racist as fuck, but he's a great dad. And I asked her, we had a discussion on how she came to that, and it was deep. She was just like, yo, he did everything he was supposed to do as a father. It's just outside of that, he an old ass white man and racist as fuck. And I was like, cool, we could separate the two. Because I understood where she was coming from, and I felt bad for her. She was like, yo, I can never bring nobody home because I don't know what the fuck my dad's going to say. She was like, however, when it comes to being my father, he's great. And it is what it is. But anyway, If you want to continue this conversation, please hit me up. I would love to hear what you have to say, because to me, it was interesting. You got any last remarks? What? Why not? What's wrong with you? Why you don't like hearing what I got to say?
You can say whatever you want to. It's your podcast.
What? Oh, now it's just my podcast. You know what? Me and my boys did have this conversation of. That's what you get. Me and my boys did have this random conversation of how black women seemingly don't agree with, hey, nah, you don't have to be married, but they also don't want to be single moms. And we thought that was like contradicting, but interesting. But okay, episode 96 of the Paid and Exposure podcast. I'm your host, Gavin, aka Coke, aka whatever you want to call me. I got my co-host here, Key, aka Key No or Gassy. Whatever y'all want to call her. This is episode 96. I think I've said that another time. Anywho, today is interesting. I have an episode that's coming out soon on how to start your photography business, or how to, the basis of starting it. So if you're an established photographer, it might not be the episode for you, but it would still be great to listen to and for you to share. So share it with people who keep asking you the same damn questions. But I always tell photographers, I'm like, look, when there's always intro stuff, the conversations to be had, definitely check them out and listen, because you never know what you're going to learn. My favorite thing about this is I'm starting out photography, and story time with Gavin.
Again, you about to go another 10 minutes, ain't you?
Maybe.
You gassy?
Nah, my belly button hurt. Anyway, I'm starting out in photography. That ain't never happened to you? Come on, man.
You got an Audi or something?
Yeah, actually.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. And it's actually like a midi now because I've gained some weight.
That was real country.
I'm so country. Anyway, let's get back to it. So I'm starting out in photography, and I'm talking to this young lady who turns out to be my wife now, but I had no idea. And she asked me what I wanted for my birthday. I said, oh, nothing. I don't know. And so she bought me a class at a place called the Light Factory, which is located in Charlotte. And so I had heard of the Light Factory before because my parents, who used to have a janitorial business, used to clean up a photography studio. And I asked one of the ladies in there, I said, hey, I want to learn something about photography. Do you know where I can get classes? And she was like, oh, check out the Light Factory. But I didn't have any money. I wasn't really sure if I was low-key, I was just praying that she would teach me. But she said no. Pretty much.
Okay, music soul child.
Basically. What? Okay. And you know what's funny is that same young lady, I remember going to her when I first started photography. And let me tell you how bad. Mind you, this is a studio. The owner of this studio, their office is in downtown Charlotte, literally in Uptown, right beside Sports One, right? Mm-hmm. Let you know. The owner lives in Hawaii. They shooting commercials. They're doing all this crazy stuff. They do photo shoots. I took them the pictures that I was taking at A&T, UNCG. Mm-hmm. Remember how bad those were? And I was showing that to them as my portfolio. Like, this is something I want to do. Now, at the time, Key, clearly it's my best
Y'all
work.
should see the growth.
So
just don't show the ones of me.
Think about, I'm showing these professional people that shit. For those who not know, nothing was in focus. All of it was overblown and it was blurry, but I was trying to make that the effect because I didn't know how to focus. Anyway, so this girl at my job buys me a class at the Light Factory, and I'm happy, but I'm upset. So let me tell you why I'm happy. I'm happy because I'm like, okay, cool. She's listening. Nothing's more beautiful than when you're talking to somebody and they actually listen to you. Because I was telling her at that time, like, hey, I love when people they invest in my business, especially ladies that I speak to, I'm talking to, whatever, right? And so I'm glad, but then I'm pissed because I get to the class on the first day, and it's 8 of us in the class. Mind you, at this point in time in my life, I've been taking pictures since I was 19. I probably was 25, 26. And so I'm sitting there and I think I'm the shit. I think I know everything. To put in perspective, the guy beside me had just bought a Canon 5D Mark IV, which took me still 4 years after that class to buy one. But that camera at the time was $3,200, and he was a dentist driving an A8 Audi, and he bought the camera because he wanted to take pictures of teeth, and bruh did not know how to turn it on. Imagine somebody buying a $3,200 camera and they don't know how to turn it on. That to me was pissing me off, and I'm in the class. And I'm sitting beside him. He's like, oh, do you take pictures? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm at the Light Factory, and I'm pissed. I'm like, why am I here? Why am I here? And I thank God for that girl. I thank God for the Light Factory. I thank God because let me tell y'all, I learned so much after class one. Class one, I go home. I tell my wife, who's just a homegirl I'm talking to at the time, I'm like, yo, worst class, don't know. I'm going to go back to the next one, but if it's going slow like that, I'm going to hop back in later, right? She's like, no, I paid money for that class. You're going to go. I'm like, all right. So I go to the second one. It took 5 minutes in class 2 for me to realize I knew nothing about photography. And I learned so much, and I grew so much. And so I say all that to circle back around to say, if you don't, when there's intro things for you, intro opportunities, beginning educational, at least listen through it to figure out, hey, if you can make it better when you teach other people or if you miss something. So the first lesson that we will be talking about is finding your niche and how to set up your business. And I'm going to say here, first of all, we got to figure out what's a photography niche, right? And I tell people, the easiest way to understand a photography niche, I can't give you a definition because I don't fucking know. But the easiest way to find out the difference between a photography niche is, do you shoot everything or you're an expert that can shoot everything? So think about it as though, do you shoot everything or can you shoot everything? So what's the difference? Do you shoot everything? If Keith says, hey, I want you to shoot my baby shower, I also want you to take pictures of my dog, but I also want you saying, yeah, I'll do that too. And then Keith saying, hey, I got a maternity shoot with me and my husband. Yeah, I'll shoot that too. Then Keith says, hey, I need you to shoot my bar mitzvah for my son. Do you shoot that too?
Also, now we Jewish. Okay.
Come on, man. I don't know what you're going to do out here.
I'm going to be a single mom. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm going to still take your maternity pictures. Look, I'm going to be telling Key like, yo, man, it's cool, man.
Go ahead, bruh.
What? Why Key want to shoot me? What's wrong with you?
I didn't say nothing about shooting you.
So the thing is, can you shoot all of that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But can you be somebody who's like me, who is an engagement maternity photographer? Shit, I don't want to sound like this is all about me. I'm not that full of myself. But are you somebody that's like Tommy Brooke, who's saying, hey, I shoot this. I shoot branding photos, but I also can shoot your baby shower. I also can shoot your maternity shoot. I also can shoot your wedding if you want me to, if I want to. And so me, the benefit, I always look at, there's a benefit in having a niche, and that benefit is you get to be an expert. I was laughing because somebody asked me today, they was like, yo, what's the biggest thing you did this year as far as your business, right?
Have a baby.
Not the okay. They asked me like, what was the best business decision I made this year? And I was like, I got my ass off of Clubhouse. And me and you talked about it. We was on Clubhouse. So I'm not here to kill Clubhouse, even though I would, and I am. But everybody who was on Clubhouse was experts, right? Allegedly. All alleged. And I remember, but you know what? When you create a niche, so for me, my niche is I do maternity photos. So I'm trying to become an expert in that. I shoot engagement photos. I'm trying to be an expert in that. And as far as like, hey, this is how we're going to pose. This is what you need to do. An expert is more than, hey, I'll take a nice picture. The colors are right. It looks pretty. Sometimes the expert is saying, yo, this is the best outfit for you to wear. Actually, this is what time of the year you should do it. This is where we should go. You know what I'm saying? So think of it like that. And sucks to say this. Another benefit of having a niche is I get to weed out customers I don't like and don't want. And it's beauty in that, and it's okay. I laugh at because sometimes people hit me up. This month I've gotten 4 requests to do 4 baby showers. I'm only doing 1. And that's because I know her and she's cool. Shout out to you. The other 3, nah, I'm not for that. I don't want to go to your baby shower, hang around family, people I don't know. And I don't know nobody at her baby shower, but I'm still going to do it because I know her and she's cool. But going to your baby shower, eating y'all trash food, sitting around, not really capturing what I'm good at.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to have a photographer at a baby shower.
It's, oh my gosh. You want to know where it's weird to have? It's weird to have a photographer at baby showers, gender reveals.
Yeah. You don't need that. You don't need a photographer for those things.
You don't, or you can have a family friend.
Yeah, like you don't need a professional.
Absolutely. This is coming from the two people.
This is my opinion.
Now they shot at us for saying that we that you shouldn't have to tag photographers. They shot at us on Instagram.
I mean, it's your prerogative, but
yeah.
you pay for it. Like, anywho,
oh yeah, I was about to get off track. Go ahead.
I felt it coming. But yeah, I feel like a baby shower. What are you savoring these pics for? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's only one picture that really matters. Well, the baby shower, I don't even know what you're going to do.
What do you...
Well, you remember back in the day when our families used to have photo albums? We don't have those anymore.
Yeah, it's all social or
digital. And then if you lose your phone, it sucks.
True. I mean, I guess that could be.
But you don't need a professional, you know what I'm saying? And I feel the same thing. The reason why I don't like doing those things is I feel like I can't produce what you're looking for, so you're going to get upset and then you're going to be looking at me like I'm crazy. Funny enough, I did a engagement party one time. The girl, she was Jamaican, and her parents weren't together, but the dad allegedly had money, and he was trying to, like, me and Karina went, and I was just like, why are we here? Everybody was speaking a different language. We was the only English speaking people, and I didn't want to be there. I don't know who passed my information, but as I'm taking the pictures, I'm like, this is not going to be good. It's going to be trash because I know what I do. I know. And you know what? A lot of people have expectations when they hire me. And I'm like, I'm not going to meet none of these expectations in this situation. So anyway, feel free. Look for the episode. It's coming out. Cause we're going to talk about how to find your niche. We're going to talk about theories. And then I'm going to talk about, finding a name for your business. A lot of people keep asking me, how do I find my name? We're going to talk about where you go to register your business and things you need to look for, because a lot of y'all got sole proprietors, and boy, when y'all get sued, shit gonna go left. A lot of y'all got LLCs, and boy, you need to be an S corp, but that's a whole nother thing, and I am not the expert in that. But we're gonna talk about those things. So,
excuse me.
Wow, Key. You ready to go to the next part?
It's the Starbucks.
This is the part of the podcast where you can have a question. Key is going to ask it.
He fucks up everything. I think he does it on purpose now.
Nah, I be trying to get it right. Key asks the questions, I answer them. Take it away, Key.
What's the best full frame? I can't even talk. Mm-hmm. What's the best full frame camera now this is not me. This is what Gavin wrote on here.
That's what Shay said. I just copied it.
What's the best full frame camera should someone coming from a half frame transfer to?
All right. So for those who don't know, there's no such thing as a half frame. I do want to correct Shay. Shout out to Shay. It's called a crop sensor camera. My thing is, the best full frame you come to is the one you can afford. I know that sounds cheesy. If you were Canon, look at the Canon R. If you were Sony, look at I think the A7 II is full frame. Whatever you can afford, go ahead and go to it as soon as possible. There is always those people who's like, oh no, I don't believe that upgrading to a full frame is going to make a bit of a difference, and they don't even own a full frame. That's the fucking shit that gets me every time, man. Excuse my language.
Oh, he's upset.
Yeah, because it goes back to the kid thing. Before you got here, I was supposed to be doing the mini episode, right? And I didn't, because I talked to my sister for 30 minutes, and I told my sister, I said, I used to always give you advice on my nephew, and I ain't never have a fucking kid. And I said, I get now why that's tough. And I was like, and so I was laughing with her, and me and her was joking. And I'm not trying to go back to that conversation, but what I'm saying is, I love when I have conversations with photographers like, oh, you really don't need a full frame. And then I go, oh, okay, cool. Do you have one? Have you used one? No. Okay, then don't talk. Because it does make a difference. Now, let me put it like this. If you say, hey, I had one, I gave it away. Or, hey, I had one and it didn't make a bit of a difference to me. Cool. But if you ain't had it, what are we talking? What are we really out here talking about? So with that, absolutely, whatever you can afford. But I look at the Canon R and upgrade from there. personally, I got the R5 and I got the 5D Mark IV. The camera that's on Key is the R5. The camera that's on me is the 5D Mark IV paired with the 85. It's pretty cool. Kenan, send me some.
Donations.
For what? It took you 20 years to get this camera.
I know. And then they got a new camera. They got an R3 coming out. That shit is $6,000. Not buying that. I can't afford it. Go ahead. Next. Another one from Shay. Damn, Shay. All right.
When starting out photography, should you charge clients? If not, at what point should you start and how much? If you start out like Gavin, hell no, I ain't paying for that shit.
Hell no. Absolutely. So here's my joke. This is it's gonna sound, I'm gonna contradict myself, and I'm so sorry. I hate to do this.
Oh gosh, here we go.
If you starting out in photography, should you charge? It depends on your skill level. If you starting out and you trash, no. However, don't be afraid to charge, because the world always have a unique way of correcting us, right? So,
Lord humble you real quick.
absolutely. I laugh because it's people in my in the photography group. Shout out to No More Pie by Gavin B. I laugh because in there, I laugh when photographers DM me and they tell me that they charge more than me, and I'm like, cool. Because it's dope. I don't get offended. I know a photographer right now who is better than me, and he charges $100 less than me. And he runs his business different. However, I do find it interesting when those photographers who seemingly just started out or just getting their feet wet is charging $400 or $500, and then every week they're looking for collabs and TFPs and shit because nobody want to book them. So the world has an interesting way of correcting you. My thing is this: there's always going to be this unique way of saying, what should I charge? I say whatever you charge, whatever your hourly rate is at work currently, charge that when you start off with photography. Just do that. If you make $7 an hour, $7.25, then you need to charge $7.25. Figure out how many hours you're going to work on a photo shoot and do that. You can. You're going to, because after the first shoot, after the first 2-3 shoots, you're going to realize, like, all right, this is not making me a lot of money. I need to.
That's actually a sound advice if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody should do that with business. And let's say you're a hairstylist, right? Or you're a nail girl, and you say, hey, I want to do nails when I get off from work, but what should I charge people? You can't charge $60 a hand like Kelly does. Shout out to Catered Nails. By the way, Key in here got her toes and hands done. Hand claps for that.
I got the white toes.
I like the dino toes.
Niggas say they like the white toes.
White toes.
But I'm be single, so it really don't matter. Anywho, I just
that was
gotta,
a shot.
I gotta keep saying that again.
Let me tell y'all something. White toes is undefeated, and pastel colors on toes is undefeated as well.
Not pastel. You going for springtime, nigga?
Always. Them shits is undefeated.
Fall colors is better though.
Really?
Absolutely.
Like what's fall? You talking about like
burgundies, burnt orange,
you sound like
emerald
an auntie.
green. I am an auntie, a damn good auntie, and a godmom. So yeah, that's key.
Them all the auntie colors. I'm a pastel guy myself.
Fall is here in tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I would say, look, charge what you make at work. Because at the first, it's only gonna take you a couple of times to realize, like, yo, I'm being underpaid, and then you're gonna adjust and you're gonna inflate the price, and then the world is gonna knock you down. I do have a whole in-depth view on how you can do pricing, but that's gonna come later in this lesson. But I also have a video up already on YouTube, so check it out. It's called Pricing Your Photography. But my thing is always start there. I do believe if you're in Charlotte, North Carolina, if you're in a major city, you probably can get away with $150, $200 for a photo shoot. But then also, a lot of us some of us need to ask our friends, what would you pay for this? Or some of us need to have our friend to ask their friends.
Yeah, because your friends ain't your art audience.
They're not. And then they're not going to pay either. They're not going to pay the correct amount or what it's worth or what you want. Let me put it like that.
They can if you put your foot down.
They can, but it took me a while, and I'm still getting there, when I realized certain people don't book me for certain shit, and I'm cool with. I actually wrote somebody. I wrote somebody today, and it was a joke, but I was serious. I was like, damn, how I get fired for being your wedding photographer? And I was like, I was supposed to be your wedding photographer, but it's cool. But I know their situation changed, so I know that's what's coming next. But certain things like that, it's certain people I'll be looking at like, damn, you let that person do your headshots and you actually know me? Cool. Especially because as a friend, now mind you, all these people I'm talking about, they're not friends. They're real cool associates with me. But like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. If you would go to somebody right now and let somebody else do your headshots, unless I told you no, I can't, I know I'm unavailable, I know I'm not gonna do it, I'm probably gonna look at you crazy and be like, really?
Maybe those people can't afford you.
And so that'll be my thing. Oh. So that'll be the thing. And sometimes then also sometimes my question is it you can't afford me or I'm not worth it? You know what I'm saying? Because I believe those are two different things.
I think they just can't afford it.
Yeah, a lot of people, because it all comes down to value, right? Like, yo, I value this. I don't value paying you. For instance, I do maternity shoots. They tap out around like $600-$700, right? Somebody might not say, I got $600-$700 to book you for a maternity shoot. Cool. But do you?
Look, if niggas is paying $1,200 allegedly for a boudoir, you could pay $607 for a maternity shoot.
Yeah, and
I still can't believe that. I think they lying.
I think they are too, because I've never met. Here's my thing: it's certain people in the group I talk to say, nah, that actually is possible, but I've never met somebody that has paid that.
They lying, bruh. Ain't no, and I'm not even a photographer. Ain't no way, bruh. Ain't no way. Ain't no way there is a female on this planet paying you $1,500 to be in some lingerie. Ain't no way. There is no freaking way. Wow.
Yeah, nah, I ain't did that.
They lying.
Yeah, and I'm just saying I've never met those type of people. I do believe, and here's my thing. Do I think the best photographers that I know, shout out to Meech. I think his name is Meech213. Shout out to Bonnie Nichols. Shout out to Angela Perez. Shout out to, I'm trying to think who else. Mr. Guerrera. Shout out to
Key.
Shout out to 2020 Photography for the booty work. I mean, he pretty much shoots that and he kills it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to those guys. If those guys and ladies, excuse me, shout out to Dana Cole. If those guys and ladies told me that, yo, people is paying them $3,000, I'm going to believe them, because their work, look, it speaks for themselves. If y'all don't believe me, go look those people up. If somebody told me Manny Ortiz, because he's a YouTube person, he's pretty much famous, Jared Poland, Brandon Waffle, whatever his name is.
Brandon Waffle.
Shout out to Jessica Cofazy, whatever her name is.
He know how to
Jessica
botch somebody's name.
Whittaker. Those people are like Instagram photography famous. So somebody told me, yo, these people are charging $3,000. I believe it. But Key has seen the Wrath of Gavin, where I send her people profile and I'm like, yo, this person told me they got $5,000. And Key like, ain't no damn way.
Like them people from the episode before. I need to talk to Tyra Banks and ask her photographers how much they pay. Or ask Rihanna how much she pays her photographer for her Fenty stuff. Because they now, for a big brand like that,
They not even get, it might be interesting with them. I don't know. They probably got an in-house photographer. In-house photographers that works for companies like that, they probably get 6 figures and call it a day. And probably what ends up happening is like, yo, you're like, for instance.
Exactly. They probably get 6 figures from working for a big brand like that. So you mean to tell me you regular schmegler motherfuckers, sorry.
They making $250,000.
It's making 6 figures as well. And you just getting random folks off the street that's paying their hard-earned money just because they want to feel sexy? Okay.
Yeah. And I told y'all.
You feel sexy?
I told you. Creeper.
Let me go get me my little Kodak. I got some photos for you.
I told you some of those people sound like predators, man.
Anywho.
Next. This is a group question. I was in a group. I stole this from a group and it was super funny. The other two was actually from Shay. Shout out to Shay. Make sure you join the group. You'll see her, follow her work. I don't even want to butcher it. I didn't butcher too many names today. But anyway, this is from a group chat. And go ahead, read it, because I think this better be good.
What is your biggest business pet peeve?
What is your biggest business pet peeve? For me, showing up late. Showing up late. It grinds my gears. It pisses me off. Key, when a client shows up late, I low-key be losing it. So, all right.
You about to lose it now.
Lose it now. When you show up late, all right, your shoot, what time you want? What are we going to say? The shoot start at 5? Let's just say
start
5.
at 3.
All right, the shoot starts at 3. I'm there at 2:45, 2:50. I don't stop. I'm not tripping, right? At 3:10, I'm waiting for your text to let me know that you're not there, you're on the way, or you're parking. At 3:15, I'm really looking at my shit. Like, I'm sending you a text to see how far you're out. And at 3:20, I'm gone. Like, I'm over it now. People that I've shot with before, people that I rock with, I will stick around longer. But showing up late to me, is disrespectful. To me, it's aggravating. To me, it makes me be like, get over shit, because life to me is all about maximizing my time. And this is pre-kid. Before I had a kid, I was the type where it's like, when I became an entrepreneur forcefully, shout out to that company. I don't want to bleep that name out. I ain't got time for it. But I remember getting forced as a photographer, and I remember getting fired on a Friday, getting back home from New York on Monday, and realizing I had so much time on my hands, but I need to make the most out of that time so I can be able to pay my mortgage that month, right? Actually, I was like, yo, I need to be able to save money so I can take my wife out for our 1-year anniversary tomorrow. That's what I really was thinking. And so my time became super valuable, super important. And I just remember sitting there, and like now, since then, I really realized like, yo, this is important for me. So when you show up late, you really just telling me you don't value my time. And it pisses me off. It really pissed me off. Me and a makeup artist who I'm still cool with, me and her got into it because I told her, I said, yo, you're disrespecting me and my time by you showing up late every time we have to work together. And I was like, yo, I just can't refer people to you. I just can't work with you. What?
Nothing.
Anywho, so it's just one of those things where like you showing up late, and then let me tell you what happens with clients. When they show up late, they don't come to you running, sweating, still putting on their clothes and shit.
They're gonna mess up their makeup.
Exactly. They show up like, yo, I've been doing this. Like, I'm fine. I'm not late. You late. You was early. And so that shit just, I be sitting there and I'm like, yo, oh my gosh. So please do not show up late with me, because you get like a little grace period, and then I will leave. I remember one time I passed a client getting on the elevator. I held the elevator for them to get off, and I got on, and they didn't realize it was me. I think they realized once the things cut, like, is that him? And so the elevator's damn closed. And then I texted him when I got in the parking garage. I was like, hey, don't know where you guys been, but I left. And I left their ass. Sure did. Said fuck it. My other thing before we go to the next little subject. So disrespectful. Stop doing y'all own makeup. Come to these photo shoots.
What if they're a makeup artist?
Get your makeup professionally done, and if you're a makeup artist, then you're doing it professionally. Hopefully. I'm just saying. And you know what? I don't know what's worse. No makeup or bad makeup for a photo shoot. I don't know what's worse. I honestly prefer... Damn.
I don't know. I'm not a photographer.
Like, all right. And you can help me with this. Ladies will come, sometimes they be like, oh, I really want this natural look. I don't know why. Like, I want a bare face. I want a natural look. And I'm like, yo, all y'all not Alicia Keys. Like, y'all think like, oh, I'm going to have nice, decent skin. a lot of people don't know that Alicia Keys had to work to get her skin where it is. And she's told all of us about her skin troubles, issues, things of that nature. But people come to the shoot like, oh, I want a bare face. I want a natural look. And then they half-ass do like some makeup on it and some skin. And the only thing y'all do is just moisturize the shit out of your face. And then they show up and the shit be looking bad. And I be like, oh my gosh. And I got to edit it and they still won't. And then here's the funny part. I want a natural face, but I want you to edit everything on it. No. Stop.
Don't do that if you work with Gavin, guys.
Please don't. Please just get your makeup done. I got some makeup artists that I can send to you. Please show up on time. Have your makeup done. All right. That was
good?
I digress, man. Yeah, I'm good now, man. I just had a bitch for a little bit.
Biggest pet peeve.
Yeah,
I got a pet peeve for you businesses. Show the same grace to your clients.
This is key shit.
That you do for yourself. If I'm late and I let you know I'm gonna be late,
okay,
right? You still gonna charge me. But if you hit me and say
they probably gonna charge you a fee.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna charge me.
Okay, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if you hit me and I'm on time for my fucking appointment, and you say, hey, I need to push your appointment back, what are you gonna do for me? Why you being weird to me? I don't understand.
Yeah.
That is annoying. And it only happens with hairstylists. Sorry. But it has happened to me with hairstylists. And I'm just like, so it's okay for me to be okay to push back the time that I have, that I set forth. How do you know I don't have nothing else to do? But you know what? It's okay. But if I'm 5 minutes late, now I'm charged $10.
Yeah, that should be wild.
Oh.
Businesses, we have to learn how to do business. Our people especially. Me and Key have this conversation of, me and Key are very big supporters of black businesses because you want to help out. You want to get back to our people. You want to invest in the community. But sometimes black people black businesses, they really take advantage of their customers, man. That shit is sad. Like, I don't have to go to a salon, a stylist, but I do. It is cringe worthy to watch you hairstylists go in on these black women and what type of hair y'all don't do, what type of hair they can't come with, what all the shit they got to do before they get there, and y'all charging premium prices for shitty customer service. And it's mind-blowing, honestly.
I just posted something on Instagram. Somebody posted, and homegirl thing on her site said not accepting people with 4C hair. And I don't know if anybody or if you know what 4C hair is.
No.
4C hair is very coarse, thick hair. I, Key, have 4C hair. That is offensive to me. Like, so you want me to control the type of hair that comes out of my head? Sorry, I can't do that. Somebody said, if you can't do hair, just say that.
Yeah, like
if you can't do hair, just say that. And you can say that.
Yeah, I be laughing like, one chick was talking about another hairstylist talking about what type of braids she don't do. She don't do braiding after this time. I was like, it's mind blowing to watch, man. And that ain't the only time I do that. You know what I'm saying? I watch makeup artists talk about what type of makeup they not going to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's mind blowing, like, to watch people. And here's the thing. What you have to do, the way to get around that as business people is you kind of just got to say, this is the type of service I provide in this field. And you got to stick to that and be cool with it. Like, hey, I only do this. I only do that. And you got to stick with that. But you going in here and you having one little thing like, hey, I'm not going to serve these type of people. I'm not going to do this. It's mind blowing, man. It's just like, and it's tacky. I think a lot of us, we have preferences on what type of business we want to do or what our specialty is, but we tacky with it. And so anyway, all right, we got a new photography topic, which is going to be funny because it's called Who Was Right and Who Was Wrong. So I'm going to let Key read the story, but the basis of the story is.
We should make that a segment. That'd be funny.
We can.
Who's right? Who's wrong?
We can start doing that. All right, you want to read this? You can just start from the top and we'll just stop.
It ain't moving. It never worked for me.
All right. So what it is called The Internet Backs a Photographer Who Deleted a Bride and Groom's Pictures. Y'all can already see. Imagine this. Your photographer shows up to your wedding. Y'all have a little falling out and they delete your photos. You want me to read it? We can skip that. Hold on.
One photographer got a surprise reaction online after detailing how she did the unthinkable and deleted a newlyweds couple's photos from their big day. Reddit.
Come on, man.
Am I the A-hole forum? The photographer explained that she took the decision after being denied a 20-minute break to get something to eat and drink.
All right, so we're going to skip down a little bit because that's the base of the story. It says that she had only agreed to take the photos as a favor to the bride and groom. I think that's important. Who are at least were friends. They recruited her to save some money. She says, I'm not really a photographer. I'm a dog groomer. I take lots of photos of dogs all day and put them on my Facebook and Instagram. So it makes no sense. So they did charge $250 to this for this young lady to take their wedding pictures. And
$250 for 10 hours. And now I see why Gavin was like, we'll get into it. Because I asked him before this, like, do y'all get breaks?
So who is right and who is wrong? So here's my thing.
Fuck y'all, I'm about to sit down.
So your question before this whole podcast was, do we get breaks?
Yeah, for a wedding. Because every time I see photographers, they just be moving. Like, I never see them sit down.
Yes, we do get breaks. Is it in our contract? No. Some people do. I don't put it in my contract because I'm going to take one. I don't give a fuck. Okay? If you book me for your wedding, I'm breaking.
I feel like most wedding people going to tell you to sit down and eat anyway.
Absolutely. Well, let me tell you what happens. You get to a wedding, and if you're working for the right bride and groom, somebody who has some class, some money, and some standards, what ends up happening is their venue is responsible. Their venue and their wedding coordinator always make sure you eat.
Yeah.
And what happens is vendors always get fed. People don't believe it. They usually get fed right after the bride and groom. They get fed first so that they can go ahead and get back to working.
That makes sense.
We don't eat on the floor. Sometimes we eat in the back with the help. Get the niggas in the back. Basically. And so we eat or whatever. So yeah. Yes, sorry, y'all. So yeah, we're going to eat. Now, so here's my thing. Let me tell you what I got a problem with. First of all, this woman is not a photographer.
Right.
So they hired a dog groomer. Imagine that, Key. Imagine hiring a dog groomer who take pictures of dogs.
She said, I take photos of dogs all day. I guess they thought they was dogs.
Look.
I'm a dog. I'm a dog. I'm a dog. I'm a dog. I'm a beater like a dog. Treated like a dog.
And so Shorty thought that shit was gonna fly. So she talks about look. She said I was told I could not eat because I needed to be a photographer. In fact, they didn't even save me a spot at any table. That's not uncommon though. I'll be honest. The not saving you a spot at any table. Most of the time for me, I find somewhere to sit at a table because somebody always doesn't show up at your wedding. So, sorry. Second of all, this girl RSVP'd as a guest, and after she agreed to a photographer, they took her seat away. Well, that's going to happen, sister, just to let you know. She said she was getting tired, and she said she was doing this for next to nothing. You're a dog groomer, so you don't even know what's next to nothing. I don't know how much money you was expecting to get, but you wasn't about to get whatever. She said, I told the groom I need to take off for 20 minutes, get something to eat. He says, you either need to be a photographer or leave without pay. She said, I deleted all the pictures basically in front of him. So who is wrong? Look here. Part of me, let me put on my cape for the bride and groom.
Nah, fuck them.
Absolutely.
Key say fuck them. Nah, bruh. You not finna sit up here and first of all, I already told you I don't take photos. I'm doing you a favor, first off.
But you agreed to it.
I agree to it, right? I agree to it, right? I agree. But also in that agreement, you expect like a person who's not a wedding photographer to be all full throttle. Like you knew what you signed up for. Mm-hmm. Like I don't understand like why they expected her to be like, I guess, quote unquote, a regular professional photographer. She takes pictures of dogs.
Bruh.
She takes pictures of dogs. What you want her to do?
To be fair, the bride and groom is wrong for this. They weren't even wrong. You know what they are? They got what they deserve. You hired a dog groomer to take your wedding photos. I don't know where clients, and I know clients probably ain't listening to this, but I don't know where clients get off on trying to go cheap on their wedding photography. If it's one thing that I would tell people never go cheap on, it is your wedding photography. Never go cheap on that shit. As soon as you say yes to that ring, you need to save up for venue. And sometimes if you ain't got it, I've taken weddings I took weddings in somebody's backyard and Max Speed Shop catered the whole thing. Look, there's ways of getting around it. So, but for me, it's venue.
Max got good hush puppies.
Yeah, they food and fell off though. I know y'all Max cook that shit in the morning because it ain't what it used to be. But that shit used to be busting.
That food said Max.
You remember that time we went to Max? It was me, you, Brittany, and Darnell. And
Every
Rena?
time Brittany and Karina is around, our food never is good. I think
that is 100%.
I think it's just them.
When it's them two together, our food experience, no matter where we go, unless it's somewhere they pick magically, right? It's like when those two magically.
I think they be calling folks.
Yeah, I think they do. We calling people ahead of time like, yo. And then Darnell don't help because he be looking lost like, what the fuck? But anyway, we went to Max one time and we literally put in our order and we put in, the girl said, all right, I'm gonna go put this in. And they literally brung it to the table.
Yeah, it came out fast.
That shit came out so fast and none of our food was like right. I mean, not good. None of it was good. It was fucked up. But anyway, so I believe you should save for the venue, save for your bar, and then you need to go ahead and start saving for, venue, food, bar, photographer next. Sorry, then the DJ. That's my thing. The reason why I say it like that is because a lot of people go cheap on their wedding photography and it gets fucked up. It really do. And it's one of those things where you want to be able to look at those pictures later and be like, it's cool. Everybody gonna be like, all right.
They ain't looking at no photos because she deleted them pictures.
Yeah, bro. And that's the other thing. My thing for her is, yo.
She didn't have to delete them.
You ain't have to delete their photos, yo. I understand you upset. You have been working 6 hours. You wanted a little break. You got to learn how to, no matter what we do, when you used to go into the office, right? You knew how to find a break in there, even though it wasn't time for your break. It's always ways to find a break. A lot of photographers right now is listening and be like, yo, she did a wedding for 6 hours and she couldn't go no longer than that before she could eat. It happens all the time.
That's true. You got a point.
It's not uncommon to be working already 6 hours. It's not uncommon. It's a server right now listening. It's like, yo, Shorty didn't have a break after 6 hours. Wow. Because it happened.
Y'all also gotta realize Shorty ain't signed up. Shorty didn't know what she was signing up for.
Absolutely.
She don't know nothing about this. She's sitting in front of a dog for 2 hours and she good.
She good and she thinks she's sweet.
Like 4 or 6 hours. I'm motherfucking.
I'm tired, boss. I'm tired. And so I laughed. And you know what? Shorty did not know what she signed up for. But this is what happened when you hire the wrong person. And this is what happens when you sign up for the wrong gig. You knew
deleted the photos.
And the simple fact that you went up to the groom and showed him that you deleted the photo, that's so disrespectful. We got to fight. I'm not even mad at you, though, because that shit fucked up. It really is, man. But y'all let us know who was wrong and who was right.
God.
Key is getting a kick out of this shit.
He could have said, you got 5 minutes. He didn't give her shit.
He didn't give her shit, man. That shit is fucked up, man. We would have literally had to fight, man. Look.
That story cracked me up.
I see. Hold on.
Fucking mic on. Mic is on.
We a little behind on the hot pop culture topics. That was real country.
Y'all insist on calling me.
Who that?
I don't know. They know me to say.
Got it. Shante.
Terror Squad. That's what we call Roman at the house.
Where's yours?
When he be screaming, we be like, yo, little Terror Squad. Got to do with it, man. Y'all remember this? I will only do the got to do. He must have wrote this, of course. Hold on. Slow down, baby. So did you watch the Verzuz? Why not? Was you at work?
I don't even know what I was doing.
Oh, is it time to start the cameras?
I don't know.
Oh, I guess you got to check. All right, let's do this. Shout out to the Verzuz battle, Fat Joe versus Ja Rule. I will be real. I had Ja Rule in this battle going into it. I will be real. It was a massacre courtesy of Ja Rule. I watched the whole thing. It was amazing. It was funny. It was
Heard it got a little disrespectful.
We gonna get into that. Me and Key, Brittany and Brittany had the luxury of going to see Ja Rule in concert.
This fool said Brittany and Brittany.
Yeah.
You couldn't just say your sister.
Yeah, that's true. We had the luxury of going to see Ja Rule, what, 2 months ago?
Not too long ago.
And I think in that concert, Ja Rule reminded me of all his songs. Even though if you don't know, if you play like Ja Rule's greatest hits, I'm gonna know all of them. That's my guy. And Ashanti. So when Ja Rule was going into this battle and had just seen him 2 months ago at a sold out show, believe it or not, it was one of those situations where I said, I got Ja in this. Because I literally just heard bruh perform at least 20 hits then. Is that rain? Damn, you look smart for having that umbrella. Shit. Guess the pod is going longer. It's rain. So
Why do I hear that through the...
come on, man. I got good mics.
It's weird.
So we listened to Ja Rule, and it was a great concert, a great night. We got drunk. Our drinks were strong. And hearing Ja Rule go through everything, whether it was New York, Put It On Me, you know, holla, all that shit. I knew Fat Joe was going to be in for a long night. I did not expect Fat Joe to play shit that only the Bronx know. I did not expect Fat Joe to only play shit that the Cubans and Puerto Ricans would know. I did not expect Fat Joe to play some hood coke classics that nobody knew. Like, when you do that, and it was funny listening to Ja Rule, and Ja Rule said something. Ja Rule said, yo, because Fat Joe kept making jokes. It's like, yesterday's hits ain't today's hits. And Ja Rule said, yeah, but they classics. And then Ja Rule said something. He said, you don't know, but I owned middle school and high school for these people out here. And I laughed because I was like, bruh really did run middle school in like the first year of high school. Like when Ja Rule was out, he was only out. It was him, Nelly, Jay-Z, and that was pretty much it. And then 50 came and just got disrespectful. But like Ja Rule was like, he was doing number ones. And I think a lot of people hear like, oh, such and such has number one songs. And then they don't realize like that's on urban hip hop. Ja Rule had number one songs in the country and was killing it. And so listening to it, it was cool. Now, let's get to the fucked up part. Fat Joe had some interesting conversations.
Oh, Atlanta.
I hope y'all just saw Key yawn like hell.
Gavin love embarrassing somebody. God, dog.
Fat Joe said in the back of the damn, he said, yo, Fat Joe brung out Remy. And Ja Rule was like, yo, I'm just out here by myself. And Joe was like, yeah, my bitches eat. Them dusty bitches in the back, you got to go find them. And he kept saying, like, you need to feed them bitches. And he kept saying that, but it was nobody out, right? So it didn't matter. Because at this point, Ja Rule made no conversation about, like, I'm bringing somebody out. Yeah. Even though I think everybody knew Ashanti was coming out. And I think everybody knew Fat Joe was not talking about Ashanti.
Clearly, because sis thick.
That, and then all of us knew that, at least I knew that song that just played was going to have to, Fat Joe was going to need Ashanti for that record. You know what I'm saying? Especially if she's there. And that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? Just to speed up a little bit, Ja Rule performed a song with Ashanti, and Fat Joe was like, hold on. I need her too. And then she walked over there and performed with Joe, which was super dope. You know what I'm saying? But he was talking about Lil Mo and Vita. To be fair, Lil Mo look good. I know she's battling with overcoming drugs and things of that nature, which is sad. She look a lot better. She sound a lot better. Vita, she looked a little sick. She just looked super thin. And I felt like Fat Joe was talking about her only. But I don't know what's going on. But interesting enough, listening to everything, Fat Joe had to come out, and Ja Rule said something there. He was like, yo, you keep talking about the ladies. Like, you got to apologize, Joe. And he's saying it jokingly to Fat Joe. And Fat Joe goes, come on, you know what I'm doing. Like, and I think Fat Joe was like, yo, it's a battle. It's battle rap at the end of the day. And he kept saying these dusty bitches. And I remember watching it with me and my wife watching it. And we going, oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. He got to chill. Like, because it sounded bad.
Clearly it was bad. He apologized 20,000 times.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you watch, he said it like 4 or 5 times. And it was like, damn. And then even, you know, it was a battle. Even Remy, she apologized to Ja on stage because she was like, yo, I think she called him a cocksucker or something like that. Like, but she was talking shit. And she was like, my bad. I did not mean that. Like, you know, they talking shit. I did laugh when I got on Twitter and everybody was talking about Fat Joe saying nigga so much. And because you can,
that ain't nothing new that he been saying that.
I know, which you had me laughing because I'm like, this is not new. Fat Joe has been saying the N-word since we knew Fat Joe.
Which is crazy. So let's side topic real quick.
Sidebar.
It's like niggas from
Go ahead. Niggas from
like New York and shit.
New York and LA.
I don't know about no LA, but
Yeah,
definitely New York.
They like that too.
Say it all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's not an issue, at least up there.
Mm-hmm.
But like down south, for the most part,
It's taboo.
nobody says that shit if you ain't.
And so what had me laughing was, absolutely. If you go up to New
weird.
York and you around people that's from New York, Hispanic people and select Asian people can get away with saying the N-word. And I've seen it. I have in-laws that's from up there, and it happens. And it's one of those things like once you go up there, you see everybody saying it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. You go to LA, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting. But when you come down south, nobody don't get that shit off. So much so, the N-word, especially with people of let's say Latina, Hispanic culture, let's say it kind of gets weird when we start talking about it. It's almost like a colorism thing as well, right?
Yeah, because it's so confusing. And I guess we all need to learn like our history more in depth. Because like some people would say they black too, right? Like they a part of the whole, what is it? How do you say the D word?
Diaspora.
Yeah, that word.
Yeah, Micah says it all the time. That's the only reason why I know what you're talking about.
They're a part of that. So it's like, I don't know. This shit get tricky, bruh.
No, I'm with you because my father-in-law did his ancestry, and he had so much African in there, more than anything else.
I can see that.
And so, why? Because he wear a do-rag and he ain't got no hair?
Nah, Pop's got swag.
Okay.
He just be so chill.
He is chill. And so it kind of it was interesting to see that, you know what I'm saying? For those that I know, my wife is Puerto Rican, full Puerto Rican.
If you don't know by now,
then this is your first episode. Shout out to our first and last time listeners. And so looking at that, it was kind of interesting, right? And so it's funny because he was born in Puerto Rico. Now, when he was at a certain age, he went to New York, but he was born in Puerto Rico. But to see like he had more African than anything, it was kind of like, it's just super. And then if you see his brother, Papa's a nigga. Let's just keep it a buck. But it is what it is. So we look at that, right? So some people, it's funny because I was watching on Instagram and people was like, oh, Fat Joe's saying the N-word. It shouldn't be allowed. And I was like, so what do y'all say? And I asked somebody, I was like, so are you going to DM Cardi B? And they was like, what? And I'm like, what we talking about? You know, when 6ix9ine was out, nobody ever had a problem with him saying the N-word. And he Mexican. And that's a whole nother subject.
I never knew he said that shit.
It's in every song.
I don't listen to his shit, bro.
Yeah.
You know how to listen to these.
He had some bops when he was
I
out.
was
But
saying,
he
you
a
know,
snitch.
listen to these little niggas.
But like he said it, you know what I'm saying? And then my joke to everybody was, boy, if y'all got a problem with Fat Joe saying the N-word, wait till y'all hear DJ Khaled. He's Palestinian. And that's a whole nother, like, it's just one of those things. And it's one of, excuse me, I was on Reddit, of course. And there was this whole discussion board on there about it, which I found interesting. I'm like, yo, has Fat Joe saying the N-word? I saw this on Twitter. I saw it on Reddit. I saw it on Facebook. And I'm just like, yo, how are we having this conversation about Fat Joe in so many different places? And it's so old because Fat Joe's been saying the N-word since the 90s, since we first heard him. And on this podcast, we've talked about Hispanic people using the N-word and how that's weird, right? And then I was, one person was like, yo, it's up to black people to correct that. But if we all not in agreement to it, then it gets interesting.
Because you have black niggas up north.
Black niggas
up north, and they be like, nah, that's my nigga. He cool. He can say that. And then it's like, you bring your ass down south, and niggas ain't going for that. It's like confusion. Then I was watching Hangover Part 3, and they said the N-word in there like 3 times, and ain't nobody in that motherfucking movie black except for Mike Epps, and he died. So
I didn't even know they made a third one.
They said it. I was like, they had the Asian guy say it, and then they had the big guy say it. Alan was his character.
Oh,
I was like,
damn, I didn't watch
really
it.
Said the N-word in here.
Nobody watch that shit.
Your camera died. Your camera died.
Fuck. All right, you gotta take over the pod.
Key takeover. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Key.
Talk about your shirts.
I was about to. Hey, don't tell me what to do. Follow me, Inspirade. We haven't been doing much, but we gonna come back. We gonna come back one day, sooner or later, with something. Right now, Key got a lot of stuff going on. That is not her focus. But I got shirts out. Check me out on the website. Go to my page. Click the link. Yeah.
Anything else we need to talk about?
I don't know, bucko.
I don't think so. It is what it is. I hope y'all. Never mind. Let me shut up.
Oh, what was you about to say?
Nah, I'm good on that. I'll say it. I really hope y'all support Lil Nas X music. For y'all out here riding for him to have the freedom to do what he wants to do, which I agree with. When I say it like this, he has the freedom to do what he wants to. I got the freedom to respond to it or to not give a fuck. But I'm saying this to say, I hope y'all really support his music. For y'all who supporting his ability to do whatever he wants to do. The reason why, because to me it comes off as pandering if you're cool with him trolling everybody, doing stuff to piss people off, but then you don't go listen to his music, because in 5 years, if his music don't sell, he's not going to be the pop star that y'all so praise to be breaking down barriers. And I was so laughing because I was in some thread and they were talking about him and all the new stuff that he's doing, and I'm like, all this shit has been done before. And it was funny listening to him. I watched his Breakfast Club interview, and I think even somebody there, it might have been Yee or it might have been Charlamagne, was like, no, it wasn't Charlamagne. I think it was Yee who was like, oh, you're doing all this stuff. And even Lil Nas X was like, nah, it's all been done before. I'm just doing it now. And, for instance, they talked about him being pregnant, right? And he was like, somebody told me it was on a Cosby Show, and I did it. And it was. You know what I'm saying? Where all the men were pregnant, they gave birth to whatever. And, Lil Nas X gave birth to his music, his album, whatever. But I'm in a lot of photography groups, and I'm gonna circle this back to photography, because a lot of y'all was kicking people out of groups for gay bashing, kicking people out of groups for being disrespectful, saying that people was against the LGBTQ plus community because they didn't agree with some of his actions. However, I stand strong in saying, if y'all don't go through, if y'all kicking people out the group and y'all ain't streaming his music, supporting him, going to his shows when shows is open, then y'all worse than the people that y'all complaining about. Because this music industry is crazy. They will get rid of somebody quick as shit, and they will have this boy out here looking lost and crazy. You don't believe me? Go check and see what happened to Miley Cyrus. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, Lil Nas X is nothing but Miley Cyrus. I don't know if anybody has picked up on that or has noticed. He's nothing but her.
This man just called him Miley Cyrus.
He is. I mean, it's the same formula. You know what I'm saying? Look, you was somebody, you wasn't never supposed to be doing music. You got into music. Cool. What did Miley Cyrus do to get popping? She pandered to black folks. You know what I'm saying? And it worked for her. And I'm not even mad at her because she went right back over to what she was doing. Like, she was like, all right, cool. Got the black folks, got Mike Will, making everybody think that, you know, I'm hype, I'm hood, I'm wearing Jordans and Forces. And
She kind of lost the black folks, though, now.
Yeah, because you went back to the other side. You didn't give a fuck about us, right? And then she started pandering. She started saying little shit.
People still like her song now.
Yeah, that shit did go hard. And then, you know, she started doing her shit, and then she ran back to the other side. And what happened? She lost a little steam. She went a little crazy. The music industry was kind of like, all right, we're going to leave her alone. You know, she had a little fake beef with Nicki Minaj. I call it fake because I don't never believe none of these artists when they be beefing.
Said, Miley, what's good? That's what Nicki said.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about wasn't that the VMAs when they was on separate stages and they were talking a little shit? And I was laughing because I'm like, neither one of y'all gonna fucking fight. And Miley, you don't want that. So it is what it is. But you know what I'm saying? But Lil Nas X, he's just following that formula. And I ain't even mad at bruh no more because I don't pay attention to him. I did watch his interview with the Breakfast Club because I was interested. I'm like, let me tell you, I'll be honest while I listened. I felt weird watching the Breakfast Club interview, and you're a black guy. You got famous off of parroting a country song with a trap beat, and you go up to the black station, probably the biggest black station that's in the country for music, and your interview is less than 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that short?
Yeah, it was short. But he's on a press run. And when you got pop stars like that, if you ever notice when the pop stars are on their press run, they're always short. But for me, I'm like, damn, this is first time really doing interviews. And this shit is 30 minutes. That's the interview that you have for an hour and a half. And he talks about a lot of shit. He was like, yo, I do a lot of shit to troll. What I realized in listening to his interview, he's a kid having fun. And I'm not even mad at bro. He was like, yo, because they asked him, they was like, how do you feel about Boosie and T.I.? He was like, it sucks because I still listen to Boosie every day. He's like, he says shit about me. He's like, I don't care. He's like, it sucks though because I still like his music. That shit still go hard.
Because it's all gimmick, it sounds like then.
Yeah. Well, ain't that what I said when we talked about it? I'm like, yo, he's the gimmick rapper. And he was like, and they asked him, they was like, are you ever going to go back to country? He was like, yeah. He's like, I don't even know why they call it. He was like, I don't know if they calling me a rapper because it's not a rap album. It's just a music album. And so it was just interesting to hear that conversation. But good luck to him, man. I hope he finds his way. And Charlamagne brung up a good point to him. And I know y'all getting tired of this shit because y'all don't give a fuck. But to me, it reminds me of Charlamagne told him, he said, do you feel like you're being yourself when you're doing all this? And he's like, yeah, I really do. And Charlamagne was like, are you sure? It's like, because it sounds like you doing stuff just to piss off people. And I wonder, is that really you?
Facts.
And he was like, nah, I really like what I'm doing. I'm doing this on purpose. He's like, you know, he's like, everything I do, I think about it for, you know, days or weeks or whatever. Then I push the button to make it happen. He's like, nobody's coming to me saying, you got to do this. He's like, you know, I think about it. I want to do it. So I do it. And Charlamagne was like, all right. And I do remember when Will Smith asked Charlamagne the same thing. So I found that funny too. But anyway, anything else you want to talk about before we get up out of here?
So I put my hands up to play my song.
Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, nigga.
Why not?
What you want to discuss?
Nothing.
Gavin.
We got to go.
Yeah, Gavin got a kid. He got responsibilities.
Hell yeah, man. I want to thank everybody for listening.
No more Fridays for us.
No. We're going to go because I was talking to
Oop, I just told everybody where we'd be going.
It's all good. We ain't there now. I told you I took pictures. I did a maternity shoot, right? I did a maternity shoot and the dad walked in. He goes, oh, I see him every week at Fridays. And I go, huh? He said he goes there every Thursday. And he was like, I see you and your homegirl every time. I'm like, how long are you in there for? Because he's like, oh, bro, I'm there. And his girl started rolling her eyes. And she was like, he's there from like 4 to midnight every Thursday.
Oh, hell no. That's a long ass time.
Oh, he see us for real, for real. He was like, yeah, bro, I see you every week.
Yo, when I bring up the podcast and I be like, I'd be like, yeah, I do the podcast with my friend Gavin. They be like, oh, I know him. I'd be like, you mother.